Hello, welcome back to another FPL video. I hope everyone is doing well. Coming up to Game Week 20 now, and since I did my previous wildcard draft, we've had a few updates. The likes of De Bruyne, the likes of Vardy injured, Salah not playing well, so I thought I'd do a little updated draft as we close in on Game Week 20. If you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you do enjoy the video, and let's get straight on into this one. So as always, I've got the FPL website open here. We're just going to be doing a bit of tinkering, a bit of discussion about how the wildcard should be played. I'm going to try and keep it between 102 and 103 million this week out of any weeks. We'll actually may end up with some money spare because of the players you can choose. But first things first, let's just lob the main kind of template essential players into the side. We're going to start off with Bruno Fernandes, Son and Harry Kane in there because, you know, the likes of KDB, the likes of Vardy are out. Everyone are kind of moving towards these three players. The first kind of big discussion point is what to do with Salah. Still the third highest scoring FPL asset so far this season, but Liverpool have not been scoring goals. They've not been looking good. Salah did get benched against Burnley, so it's kind of hard to judge him right now. If you do have him in your general teams, I'd probably just stick with him. But in terms of a wild card, would I be looking to transfer him out? Potentially so. You've got the likes of Sterling who you can bring in if you've got De Bruyne and you're looking for like a 1-for-1 swap. You know, Salah to Sterling also looks like a very fine move to target those Manchester City fixtures. I think for now I'm going to leave Sterling in there because you stand out to lose quite a lot, especially with the fixtures you've got coming up. You know, it is the Spurs game coming up in the next game, but you know, Liverpool should be well up for it, and Salah did score in the previous game. West Ham away, you maybe wouldn't expect too much, but the Brighton home game, probably where you'd be expecting something. But I do also really like Sterling. But for now, it's just kind of what you think is best to do. I like Sterling, but then, you know, you could also go down to the likes of James Maddison. Grealish looks very good for the next couple of game weeks. I guess it just depends what else you want to do with the rest of your team. And if you're happy having plenty of money in the bank and, you know, you're not bothered about filling up every spot and you're not bothered about using all the money you have, because someone like James Maddison easily could outscore Salah over the next few game weeks. Then for the fourth midfielder spot, we're going to go with Marcus Rashford, really targeting these Manchester United fixtures. If we bring them up here, they play against Sheffield in the next game, and then the fixtures after that, you know, Arsenal, Southampton, Everton ain't the worst, and then West Brom and Newcastle to top it off at the end. So I really like the kind of double up on Manchester United midfielders. Fernandes and Rashford I think look very good for the coming game weeks. And then as a kind of potential replacement for De Bruyne, a very cheap replacement in that, but we're going to lob in Ilkay Gundogan. I think he looks unbelievably good for the coming game weeks, not only with the fixtures that Manchester City have, but the positions that he's been picking up, the goals that he's been scoring. He will be on penalties, considering he scored that late penalty against Aston Villa. So I think Gundogan looks a really good option for 5.5 mil. I mean, that's the thing with a player at that price. You kind of, do I play them every week because they're that cheap? But when a player's that cheap and you know they're going to be getting returns, I think he is a great option. So now let's move into the defence. I'm going to start off with the goalkeeper, and as I've been saying for the majority of these draft videos, it's a very simple choice for me, and that is Emiliano Martinez for Aston Villa. Now with the second goalkeeper spot, there's definitely something to consider here, because as people will be targeting the kind of double game 26, and if you're using your wildcard now, obviously you won't be able to wildcard into it, so I definitely look at bringing in a secondary goalkeeper to at least have the kind of coverage for that game week. I think that Johnston for West Brom looks like a very good option. He was out with COVID over the double game week, unfortunately for some FPL managers. However, you know, West Brom have decent fixtures coming up, and Johnston, if he gets clean sheets, tends to pick up plenty of save points, so he should be getting on the bonus points, or at least picking up some good points for you. Could also be a decent little rotation option with Martinez, the kind of way the fixtures fall. But I think Johnston is not a bad idea at all to pick up a second goalkeeper, especially, you know, with how Aston Villa have been with COVID. You never know, Martinez could be out for a game. Then with the defenders, we're going to go straight in and pop in Ruben Dias in there as the first kind of Manchester City defender, or the first defender. Now with this second spot, you really just have to decide whether you want to double up on the Man City defence, triple up on Man City overall. Obviously we'd have Gundogan in there. If you fancy going Salah to Sterling, I'd still want Gundogan in there, so you'd only be able to have one City defender. But I think the Manchester City's fixtures do look very good, and with the potential of them picking up plenty of double game weeks in the next few weeks, I think that John Stones, value for money, looks unbelievably good. Diaz and Stones with Gundogan in there, I think is a very it's cheap. It's a very cheap way as well into a Manchester City side that are looking incredibly solid. Now, what to do with the third defender spot? Now, obviously, depending what you do with Salah and depending as well what you want to do with the attack, you could go anywhere from the likes of Ben Chilwell to Dyer to Justin. For now, I actually really do like the look of Justin. I think he's got some good fixtures coming up. You can really attack that kind of Leeds and Fulham fixture, and Justin at times, is playing up front. I will say, now that Jamie Vardy is out of the side, a lot of James Justin's assists were sort of balls being played through to Jamie Vardy. Now he's probably going to be playing those balls through to the likes of Iheanacho, who's nowhere near as good of a finisher. So maybe the attacking returns with James Justin will decrease, but Leicester have been keeping clean sheets of late, and he's been picking up plenty of points, bonus points, even when he's not getting any kind of attacking return and they win sort of 2 or 3-0, he's still picking up bonus points. So it shows kind of what a good valuable asset James Justin is. Now for the kind of 4th and 5th defender spots, we're looking at maybe some cheaper players. I think I'm going to go straight in and lob Tyrick Mitchell in there, just because of the value for money that he provides. I think is unbelievably good. Now for the 5th defender spot, we are going to be going with Tete from Fulham. I think he looks like a pretty decent option. Fulham have really impressed me of late. Burnley are a side that are looking very good at the moment, so you could look to Loughton. Charlie Taylor looks like he's coming back. For now, I'm putting in Tete, but there are plenty of other kind of cheap options that you can put in there. Now, you've got a little bit of money left in the bank to kind of make up these last striker spots. I'd go with Brewster as your kind of filler striker, and then for your final striker, you can bring in anyone for the likes of kind of Ollie Watkins, Antonio. I really do like Antonio, so I'm going to lob him in there. So this team value here does actually come up a little bit over budget at 104.4 million. However, if you don't quite have that budget, there are plenty of ways you can move about the team in order to get it. So the first one I would suggest is maybe taking out Marcus Rashford and bringing in Maddison for Leicester. You could also look at maybe potentially taking Salah and moving him down to Sterling, as mentioned previously, and then taking out one of the Manchester City defenders. Also, you could do Salah down to Maddison. Immediately, you'd have enough money. If you don't particularly want to take out Salah and you want that midfield, you could look at not having the second goalkeeper. So you can move Johnston down to a 4 mil goalkeeper. That would only save you 0.5. So you'd probably then have to look at maybe taking out Diaz and bringing in a kind of 4.5 mil defender. However, there are plenty of ways in this team that you could look at finding the money. It is a little bit over budget. So kind of to wrap up the video, I will move Rashford down to James Maddison, just so this is kind of more of a, template team that you can look to build. If you don't want Harry Kane, that's another player that you can maybe look to take out. But for now, we're going to run with this. Obviously, if you still don't have the money, Salah's there to take out, Johnson's there to take out, either moving Tete down to a 3.8 million attacker or Antonio down to one of the 5 mil boys like Silva. There are plenty of ways of kind of moving this team about to generate some money. But I think generally, the kind of double up on City defence with Gundogan, I really do like. Justin looks like a fantastic option. Fernandes, Son and Kane, I'd be building your team around. Maddison, Rashford are players I like to bring in as well. Obviously, you can kind of choose between the two depending on the money. I think that the second goalkeeper is a very good idea, considering you're using your wild card now. And so, when it comes to the double game week, you may want to have a second goalkeeper if you haven't used your bench boost yet, or just kind of for rotation purposes, you could have a second goalkeeper as well. So I hope you have enjoyed this quick little wildcard video, kind of explaining my thoughts on where to go with certain players. I would like to say as well, also, with that final attacker spot, so the Antonio spot, there are so many other players you can look at bringing in as well. If you have the value in Bamford, maybe keep a hold of Bamford. Ollie Watkins also, I think that's like a great option. Wilson, now that St. Maximin is back, is a great option. So just kind of pick the player you think is going to score over the next few games. Personally, I think Antonio is the one for me, but obviously just go with what your gut is telling you. If you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Also, if you've enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.